Hi, and welcome back to Dating Advice After a Divorce. My name is Craig, and thank you for joining me. Today we're going to talk about how debt equals stress. Now, on this channel, I talk a lot about dating advice because I want the dating process to be fun for you. I believe it should be a fun process. I want you to be happy when you're trying to meet somebody that hopefully you're going to spend the rest of your life with. So that process should be happy. And yet, I still want your overall life to be happy. I want you to be happy whether you're with somebody or not. And part of that is reducing the amount of stress that you have in your life. So I talk about this all the time. Daily exercise. That's a great way to relieve stress because you feel good about yourself physically and mentally. So that's a perfect way to start to relieve some stress in your life, to feel better about yourself physically. Now, another major area of stress in people's lives is the amount of debt that they have. Debt is out of control in our country. There's so many people drowning in debt, and I used to be one of them. And if you can work on reducing how much debt you have, you're going to reduce the amount of stress in your life. Think about it as you're wearing a backpack, and life, all the different challenges in life is another brick in your backpack. You want to try and take out as many of those bricks of stress in your life as possible. So if you exercise and feel better about yourself, boom, 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 you're taking out some of those bricks right there. If you can reduce the amount of debt that you have, you're taking out even more bricks. You're always going to have stress in your life. You know, if you're a parent, you're always worried about your kids and, your family members and health and all that kind of stuff. There'll always be stress. But let's reduce the amount of stress that you're carrying around with you all the time. You could be somebody that's like, you tune it out. I don't want to focus on debt. I make my minimum monthly payments. I don't focus on it. I'm okay. Everything's fine. And you just try to ignore everything. That you're not doing anything. You're not growing. Okay. You're barely treading water at that point. You've got to focus on this. You've got to hit this head on. How can you be trying to get into a happy, healthy relationship with somebody else if you got this massive, stress in your life, this secret that you're keeping from everybody, that you're drowning in debt? How can you be happy with somebody else if you've got this weighing over you all the time? So what I want to do is I just kind of want to focus on some easy things that you can do to help reduce the amount of debt that you have in your life. I used to be somebody that was in debt. And, I give a lot of credit to, I was married at the time, and I give a lot of credit to my wife, who the way that she handled it was perfect. She didn't come, she was the one who handled the finances, and I handled, everything else in the marriage. And it worked very well for us. And the way she approached it was that she said, hey, I want you to read this book. Okay, Dave Ramsey's The Total Money Makeover. I want you to read this book. And when you're done, I want us to talk about our finances. Because she could have walked in and said, okay, you're cut off from money. No more spending on anything. We're going to take all the money we got and just put it towards reducing our debt. Okay, so no more going to the movies or, whatever you do, no more of that. And then, of course, I probably would have dug my heels in and been like, what? I'm not on board with this. No more fun for me. That wouldn't have come across very well. But she handled it and just said, hey, please read this book, and when you're done, let's talk. When I finished reading the book, I was like, okay, I'm on board. You let me know what I got to do to help us get out of debt. It was perfect, the way that the whole thing was handled. The whole thing is we were both on the same page, and that's an extremely important part of it. Whether you're single or whether you're a couple, because this advice is for married people or single people, whatever it is, you got to be all bought in on this system. And if you're single and you're bought in, it's much easier. If you're with somebody else, you've got to get that other person on board. There's no way you're going to be able to get yourself out of debt if one person is doing everything they can to help get the family out of debt and the other person's still spending wildly. It's not going to work. It's not going to happen. Okay? So for us, it worked. It was great because we both got on board with the system there. So look, I'm not a financial person. I'm not a financial analyst. I'm not going to tell you where to put your money. I'm not going to tell you any of that. I'm just simply telling you what worked for me. And hopefully you take this advice and say, okay, I will invest in a book. It could be this book. It could be many other books by Dave Ramsey or anybody else. But the fact is that you're reading the statistics and you're reading the steps on what it would take to help get out of debt. You're taking that first step. So that's all I'm simply doing is putting out this information to you. I'm not telling you where to put your money or anything like that. But I am telling you, you got to start working on reducing the amount of debt that's in your life, reducing that stress that's in your life. Okay? So what Dave Ramsey does is he just kind of goes through and writes it very simply, clearly, on what debt is like, what it is doing to you, how you can get out of debt, talks about having a budget, living within that budget. You've got to stop using credit cards in the way of charging, and just making minimum monthly payments. You can't do that. Okay? You're becoming poor, and the credit card companies are rich. You got to pay off your cars. You got to pay off your student loans. You got to pay as much off as possible. So instead of that big vacation that you wanted to take, maybe skip a year and don't go on vacation, or just reduce it. Go somewhere else. Do something else. And take that extra money and put it towards your debt. You can't keep living like you've got all the money in the world if you are in debt. Okay? So there's a lot of great things in this book, and they're very simple and easy to follow. And that's all I want you to do, is just to start there and to say, okay, I can make these changes. I can set a budget and I can live that way. And then take extra money and put it towards paying off credit cards. I mean, that's just going to be the first thing he's going to tell you, that you can't be carrying over monthly credit cards. Now, one thing is, and I still live by this to this day, and I've been out of debt for many, many years, but I still live by this. You know, my local bank has a credit card, and I just use it like a debit card. But I pay it off. As soon as that charge becomes available, I immediately pay it off throughout the week or even at the end of the week. Because I don't want to get to the end of the month of all your regular charges, which would be food and gas and, and whether it's any entertainment in there, and you still see this big number at the end of the month and you're like, oh, I can't afford to pay that. No, don't do that. Just pay it off as you go. Use that credit card like it's cash and pay it right away. That's just how I view it. It's cash, I'm using it right away, and then you get points back and you get money back at the end of the year, so it does make it nice. And then using your, local bank's credit card that they give you, that when you do use it out there, and if it ever gets compromised, those thieves don't have access to your direct account. Because I have been scammed just using my debit card. And a debit card is direct access to your money, to your checking account. So if somebody gets a hold of that debit card, they're able to pull funds straight out from that. So I do use a credit card in a way just to protect me. It's another level of security in that way. But I pay off that credit card every few days. I use it just like cash, because you cannot be carrying over money at the end of the month and making just minimum payments on that. But that's just one of the many things that's in this book that Dave talks about. The whole point is to help you reduce the amount of stress in your life, and debt is definitely one of them. So if you can focus on that, as you focus on yourself and you focus on, moving forward in life and possibly meeting somebody else, and you focus on your family and you focus on your job, it's just one of those areas in your life that you're focusing on. The great thing is that you're reducing the stress, so you don't have to worry about it as much. And you're taking those more bricks out of the backpack of stress that you're carrying around in your life. So I just wanted to talk about this, to let you know. It's another thing that I believe that you should be focusing on to make yourself happy. I want you to be happy. I want everybody to be happy out there. And this is a great way to do it. Like I said, this is just the book that worked for me. There's many other good financial books that are out there, but I just wanted to, bring up and talk about one that's worked for me. So there you go. I hope you found this helpful. Please like and subscribe. Share this out with anybody that you believe could benefit from this information. Thank you very much for watching. Please comment down below. I'd love to get a dialogue going on this. Thank you all very much, and I hope you're having a wonderful day. Bye.